I should have said that before.
Yeah, no problem. So thank you for inviting me to talk to you, first of all. It's nice to be here. I always like to meet new people who are on this mission with us. And I get it, you know, like some people have been here for the long haul and are in it hardcore like I am. And some people are working it part-time, and some people have it as a hobby. And wherever you are, you're part of the team. So we want you to grow this to be what you want it to be, whatever that is. And I always say, you know, to be successful in our mission to reach 1 billion people, we need customers, we need VIP customers, we need referral sources, and we need people that are business builders. So all of those people are value, and that's a big part of why I went towards the team event. I'll tell you, I'm a very fast mover. I'm one of those people that gets an idea and I'm like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it and see what happens. So hopefully you've all seen Carla Archer's training that she did. It was a live, actually, that she did from the Mock Sock and Soul group. And I'll show you that in just a minute, just to make sure everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about, but not the full training, but I'll show you where you find it. So I saw that. I just happened to catch it. I wasn't, she must have popped up on the corner of my screen to say she'd gone live. So I went and I looked, and I didn't have a lot of time right then, but so I said, okay, that's cool. She's got something going on. And I went back later and I was like, what is this mock, what is it called? Mock.
I think you always get it mixed, right? Mock,
it's
outline.
For mock online sock and soul parties. So I was like, okay, what is this group? And I'm not really, I used to do, pre-COVID, I was the vendor show person. I love vendor shows, love being live with people. Absolutely my favorite thing to do. I have done very few home party style things at all. So I had to pivot, and right at the beginning of COVID, I made groups for my team members. So I call them VIP customer groups, and I treated it like an online party, the way that they're described in the Mock Sock and Soul group, where posting information, and sometimes I do a prize, and sometimes I do just different things to get people to engage in those groups. But that was in March that I set those up. So yes, I was feeding them in March and April and May, and then I was like, I went the summer. I got very lucky. My markets where I go in the summer, we were allowed to open. So I spent the summer vending, and then I came back and I was like, what am I going to do with these groups? I don't want to like go back and do the same thing. And I was saying to myself, I'm going to figure something else out to do as a team, because as Tracy has said, the culture at Vox is second to none. I mean, I've never ever seen anything like this. I actually spent a lot of time, that's where my skepticism lay with Vox. I was like, okay, I see the tech works. It helped me. Like, it took a while, but it did help me. I see how it's helping other people. I believe these people in the testimonials group, but I don't know if these people actually run the way they say they do. As far as actually sticking together, and actually Jay's not all about the money, and actually, you know, people will help each other whether they're financially connected or not. That part I was really skeptical about, and I pretty much put them to the test all the time. But then I met Kevin Duguay, and when you get the chance to talk to Kevin Duguay, take it, because that guy is really a servant leader. He's the first member of Vox Life, and I was like, okay, well, at least there's one. I thought, okay, well, at least there's one person that I can grab on with, and we'll just lead by example. And that's what I've done. And what I found is that there's tons and tons and tons and tons of people here that are of the same mindset. So I wanted to reflect that for those people on my team who don't feel that yet, right? Because when people are brand new, they might be like me. They might be skeptical that maybe it's all smoke and mirrors, and do these people really care this much about each other? I don't know. So I recognize that many of them may be feeling like that, but then I also knew I've got some heavy hitters who are super passionate, much like I am, but who are busy. They are busy. Believe me, I'm busy too, but they are busy, and this is not as high on their priority list as it is for me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. So I saw Carla's training. I went and looked in the group, And I was like, oh my gosh, all the posts are different from what I've already done. First of all, they're in a different tone because they're not mine. And they're all done. The pictures are there. The language is there. Of course, I curbed a lot of it to make it sound more like me, but the foundation was there. I literally had to go chick, chick, and it took, you know, a post that would take me whatever 3, 4, 5 minutes to put together was like a 1 minute to tweak it and then get it over there. So once I saw it on a Wednesday in the morning. I sent a message to my team on Wednesday night and said, Friday at noon, I'm having a friends and family event, and it goes until Monday at 8 o'clock at night. Come, we're going to figure this out as we go. And we just ran with it. And I mean, ran with it. We were texting in the background. What are we doing? I'm like, I don't know. Do this. I don't know who wants to go live. I don't know who wants to say, you know, do this. Should we try this? Sure. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. And we did. And some people posted who have never posted before. Some people just stayed in the background and were doing likes and little comments here and there, and that's their comfort zone, and I'm fine with that, totally fine with that. But the thing is, everybody got to be there, everybody was contributing, everybody was having fun, and the customers were really responding. And like Tracy said, it was the other people, like, you know, there I am, and other people on my team, some of them have been here for a couple of months. They're saying things, and other customers are like, "Ooh, interesting point, so and so." And you know, why not? That's good for them too, right? That's good for the associate to feel that empowered, and it's good for me. So we had all kinds of customers, and people were coming in and out, and they were, you know, some people had to work. So some people were there on Friday. I mean, on my teammates. Some of my teammates were in there on Friday. Some of them were working on Friday. Some were in on Saturday. Some were in half and half. Some were popping in and out. I was popping in and out. And we just had a lot of fun with it. It was totally, we just went for it. We're like, what? It's only going to be good. Nothing bad's going to come of it. It's either going to be good or it's going to be great. And it was great. We had a ton of fun. And I would say to everybody, do it. And the more you work together, the more people see who we are, like who we actually are, right? They see our authenticity. And the cool thing is, when your teammates talk about you or talk about the products that you've talked about, people listen, right? They're interested. Plus, like all the people on the screen have had different experiences with Vox. Plus, you've all talked to other people who have had different experiences with Vox. Like when you bring the web together of all the people that all of you guys have touched with this, that's a lot. There's a lot of valuable information there. So when somebody poses a question, and I always encourage customers to pose questions, and I give patches away like crazy for asking when they post questions. But then, you know, if somebody that I invited poses a question and Greg answers that question for them, and then Andy chimes in and Tracy chimes in, suddenly there's a lot of verification there, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of verification. People are saying, oh, so I'm not just now listening to Krista because she's my friend and I'm showing up because, you know, I like her. Now they're suddenly more interested in learning about the tech. That was our experience. We had so much fun with it. We have another one starting on Friday at noon this week. Friday at noon, we're starting our next, and we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna have fun. And some people went live. Some people would never go live. I don't care. Whatever. I'm like, however you want to contribute, come along. Let's have fun.
I love that. I love that, and touch on a little bit, one of the things that I also liked, which is a dynamic for all of us, right? Some of us are more comfortable with technology than others, and we all have, like we said, different things to contribute. Some people can like and comment, some can make a jump to a Facebook Live, just even from the technology perspective. So one of the things that I liked that you said one time about why we want to do this is just helping your team and helping yourself perhaps, but your team transition into the whole fact that we are working with a social media type of reality, right? And so like just even the hands-on, can you speak to that a little bit? Just the whole technical experience, like kind of getting those fear things out of the way?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's fear, right? And there's so many people that they hear we have to, whatever the buzzword of the day is, we have to pivot, we have to shift, we have to transition to online. And people that are not feeling safe and secure online, you know they're panicking. Like you don't even have to see it or hear it. You know that they are. And that's the last thing I want, is people to think, well, COVID hit and now I'm out because I can't, I'm a person to person human, and I can't function online because I don't know how. And, you know, there's enough stress in the world. I'm certainly not going to let my team be stressed out about something as silly as Facebook. Like, we'll figure it out. And I always tell everybody that, you know, I very strongly believe that, you know, the basis of a successful society is that people rely on each other for their strengths. So my strength is social media. That, you know, running, Tracy was telling you, I host a lot of calls. Like, this is my wheelhouse. And so I'm happy to do that piece. And then encouraging people where they're at. And I always say to them, like, stay in your lane, but stretch a bit. You know, wherever you're, like, don't give yourself a stress attack about it, but just stretch a little. If you would have done this yesterday, do this today. If you would have done this yesterday, do this today. Like, always just beep, 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 beep. And that's what they did. You know, I have one person who's like, if you had told her 6 months ago that she would even post on Facebook, no.
Larnie Shermel.
Right? Yeah. But okay, so there's a good story. So this friend of mine is like, she doesn't even have a real name on Facebook, and she's got no interest, and it's anxiety. She's afraid of what people will think of her, which makes me insane because she's one of the most beautiful humans.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah.
Right? Tracy knows her, but she is genuinely, sincerely afraid of what people will think, that she'll do it wrong. I think in some part of her mind, she thinks she'll let me down, which is absolutely the opposite of anything that could be true. So she's got a lot of that on her plate. And so she's one of the people that I saw her panicking about all these words. She was like, I want to be successful with Vox, but I want to be successful with Vox, but. And I was like, there's no buts. We're going to do it together. That's the whole point of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know it all. I learn from people at Vox all the time. I spent the morning today on the Women of Vox call learning from Dr. Sill. Like, I'm constantly learning from our peers here. And so I want to provide that to her too, you know? So anyways, now she's thinking about changing her Facebook profile, Tracy. It'd be happy.
We chatted a little bit about that. She says, well, maybe, yeah. Maybe I can put my real name out there.
This is, you know, these are big steps for her. But in that group, she posted, and I mean, I worked with her on what she was going to post so that she felt good about it. And she did it. And she commented, and her friends were there. And it's really about helping people to move past that limiting belief that they can't do this because they've never done it before. None of us have ever done this before. It's a global pandemic. Which one of us was alive in the last global pandemic? We were not. We were not here. We were not here yet. Or we're back, but it's not in a consistent line. So, you know, it was so much fun. And one of my other teammates, after that experience, he sent like thank you cards to the other people that participate. Like
I love that. I love
people
that
on my team who participated, because he felt like he got to know them a bit, and like, you know, they were watching each other's posts, and as I say, doing this whole like one customer says something and then they all kind of comment on it, and I comment on it. So it was really, yeah, it was a coming together thing, and people started to see that they could do this, and then the people that I already knew could do it are like, they're doing it now. They're like making things happen. They're going live in their own groups, and they're having fun, and their customers pay attention. And now they're all coming back for this weekend, pumped. And actually we came off of that first weekend, kind of like coming off the summit. Like we were all the people that were involved were just like, like, that was so good. We had so much fun.
Well, and I love what you said. There's a few things there that jump out. So I love that you said together is the point of this. So that was I think you summarized that really well in that center. Together is the point of this. And so whether that's together with our practical skills, together with our stories, together with just more numbers or peer validation, like together is the point of this. So that's going to be a quote to Krista Taylor, because that is the thing. Together is the point of this. Like that. Not having all, like, one of the other things you touched on, some of your people are busy. We're busy, right? So like, I know that even with these 4 days, I'm going to be working the Friday and the Monday. But everything's an opportunity for a learning curve, right? So when I did my vendors show, the first online vendors show, it was about creating and pulling and doing a lot of those posts. And you know what, something like a Facebook Live, frankly, it's simpler to go Facebook Live than record and do it, because then you get to record and transfer it to my computer and stick it on, and you know, those kind of things. But also like the learning opportunities moving into this one, because I'm working the Friday and the Monday, like I chatted with Nikki, or I might chat with Shannon a bit more, like we might not be able to be quite as free flowing as Krista's was, because like Krista said, she's there texting like through the thing, what do we do next? I know I don't have that layout in my day. But one of the things I do know that I want to develop, and I'm practicing, my next thing moving into this is just the scheduled posts, right? So that's what one of the things out of this time, I'm still committing to Facebook Lives. Like I'll still do a welcome and different times within that and be visible, or stories, like a chance if you like, you can come on and share a story, or those kind of things that we have done.
Yes.
With our different strengths, like I've mentioned to Greg, I've requested kind of something in there in terms of his brain mapping, not a training, but just something that touches uniquely to different audiences. But how each of the events that we can do is a tool, right? It's something that because it's all about growing. But then the other thing I liked, you talked about helping your people or helping your team. The other thing that I really liked that you said one other time, which is, if you like industry type perspectives, Eric Worre's book, GoPro, is an excellent foundational kind of thing. And he talks about how to approach people, right? Different, like from like aggressive to the far extreme, but like appealing to their expertise. But the whole thing, and this is where I put in the little Facebook post that I put too, even coming from that place of transitioning to social media and saying to friends, like, I'm trying to step into something new. I'm trying to learn how to do posts. All those things. Can you help me? Can you, come? Because most of those people, they're people want to help, right? Like if they're coming authentically, if you're coming authentically, I mean, if you say, can you help me because you're trying to hook them? I mean, people feel that, right?
Yeah.
But none of you would, right? Even from the part that I've met, that's not, and if you do, then I'm sorry, we need to have a conversation, because that's not who we are. But it's not where we're coming from, right? And so I think that there's so much there. And just as a side note, and thank you for the reminder, I loved the thank you cards, like, because I heard in there again, like one of the things overall in my own life is, how do we foster the follow-up? How do we foster those next things, not just the event, but the next thing? And I did the Association of Network Marketing Professionals, I listened to their conference, and one of the thoughts out of there that just shifted for me, because we've all heard, well, no, maybe not all heard, but there's a phrase, the fortune's in the follow-up. And there's truth in that, but it kind of is it's not entirely in alignment with who I am, right? I recognize that if you need to know drifting.
Yes,
it's a little, if I say it, people would not find it authentic to me. But this person at the conference said the friendship's in the follow-up.
Yes.
And I thought,
said that.
I'll have to go back and check my notes, because it was a specific quote from this ANMP conference. But the whole thing is, how do we care for the customer? How do we deliberately build in things for the follow-ups? So yeah, there were some amazing things. And a couple of things I started that you said, well, everyone's going to be there to contribute. Nothing bad is going to come out of it. Like, you can stumble. Like I've always, we grow up thinking, most of us did. If you're going to do something, you need to do it well. Well, I think if you're going to do something, you better do it wrong till you do it right, right? You're better to stumble forward and come through. We've talked about that. And then your statement, just like, hear this is doable, right? This is doable. So yeah, those fun pieces. So any questions, like just, or like pick her brain. We have Krista for a few more minutes and oh, good. We've got a few more minutes, but we're just brainstorming. So whether it's a question for Krista or anything to bounce out of that time or your thoughts.
I'll just show, does everybody know this group? I'll just show my, that.
Oh yes, do that too, please.
That, I'll share.
Oh, the mock party, yeah.
Yeah, so this is what the group looks like. See, online mock. Online for mock, online.
Like outline first.
Outline. Sorry. This is great. Yeah, this has got like these lives in here. Are worth watching, but the posts are the most exciting thing.
Mm-hmm.
For the posts in the
units tab, yeah.
Does she say how often to post do you change your post?
She gives her this day one thing. So this is what Deanna is, the person that actually created this group. My screen is frozen. Huh.
Oh, that's Facebook. The new Facebook stinks.
Yeah,
it's really slow.
I just got a text from one of my coworkers, and a different one, and she's saying, "Sign me up for some socks, please."
Oh, Sharon, I am so excited for you.
Wow.
Team leader, director, here he comes.
Yeah.
Or you are team leader. Team leader, hi, comma.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Okay, so see, she's got all these posts. So she's got them as like day one, post 3, and then like day 2, post 1. So basically this is what she does, and then you make it work for you. So I used a lot of, okay, well, let's see, I'll tell you. So she does this kind of a thing. She puts her picture up as the welcome post. I did a live, but that's who I am. So, but that's not who she is. So that's not what she does. I use this. I love this core beliefs post. And then I just went through, and I like that is not me. If I put that up, that is not me. So that would not make any sense. If I put that up, it would look like it was canned. So I put something different up. But like you know, if your friends and family would resonate with that, and your team would, then you should use it. These kind of things, you know, did you know? Questions are always great. Here's my story. So obviously you put your own story in there.
But I guess I love that image, right?
I know.
I know.
So beautiful. I like that too, the puzzle. The video, Ikigai is always hugely important, especially I found that like just for my own team and my own thoughts around Ikigai, to have that as a part of, this is who we are, by the way. We're all here to say this is who we are. And not all of my team showed up for the event, by the way. Like some people were just busy.
Krista, I want to know, have you always been so fearless though, and you just jump in and do things, or has it been like, you know, built up to this type of thing?
I always have been like this. And you know what's interesting though? Years ago, so that anyways, that's all the posts are there. You can just literally copy and paste.
It's a great resource, yeah.
So I was with a person who's got the same kind of personality as me. A couple of years ago, we were doing like a business mastery program, and people in that course were talking to us, and they were pointing her and I out, and they were saying, you know, you just go for it. You're not afraid of anything. Da, da, da. And in that course, we were talking about going outside of our comfort zones, and it was funny because her and I started talking to the people that were saying that. We're saying, you know what's funny though? You're saying that like we jump out of our comfort zones and we have no fear about jumping out of our comfort zones. But the thing is, this is not outside of my comfort zone. So if it's outside of your comfort zone, it looks like a big deal, what I do, if it's outside of your comfort zone. But it is not outside of my comfort zone. So I still have work to do on the things that are outside of my comfort zone.
Sure.
Right? So it's not like, oh, I'm so much. No, it's just that this is my wheelhouse. This is my skill set. And and I've learned over the course of my life how to use it really well. But there's other parts of my world where I'm working all the time to go outside of my comfort zone. Like I still have like that in different areas that I have to work on.
Yeah.
So I always want people to remember, just because you know, if this is not your wheelhouse, don't compare yourself to me, because when I'm working to get outside of my comfort zone, that's where I'm really working hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Of course, we're all different. We all are different, and we all bring something different to the table. There's no ands or ifs about it. And if this is innately who you are, and you know, it just comes naturally, there's obviously different aspects of different people in different ways for, you know, it's so varied, it's not funny. But yeah, I was just curious. So yeah, I like how you did. I like though how you said it's either going to be good or great. There was no it's going to be good or bad. It's like it's going to be good or great. Like, you know, it's just right.
It was, because we're gonna, like, I was like, at the very least, we talk to people about Vox. Like, that's the goal. Like, that's the goal. I'm never thinking the first time I meet somebody new, like, I'm gonna sell you some Vox right now.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even know me yet. I'm always looking for people to, and I'd love the opportunity in that environment to do personal stuff too. You know, like what people actually see me talking, and they see my teammates talking. I feel like they get a chance to get to know us a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I asked
Krista,
each of them. Yeah.
Krista, were you ever skeptical of the Vox? How did you?
So I was not skeptical of the tech because of the 30-day money-back guarantee. I had plantar fasciitis. I had it for 2 years. I had been working with a foot doctor and a chiropractor and a physiotherapist and a massage therapist for 2 years. I had at least 2 appointments a week for 2 years. I did all the stuff. I bought the custom insoles. I bought 4 other kinds of insoles. I wore a boot that went tied to my knee when I slept. I had so many exercises I had done. The little ball thing, the TENS machines, like I had done all the stuff. So when I heard that these would help with my plantar fasciitis, I was like,
Here we go. Yeah.
these, like, I'm gonna spend $100 on socks, and they're gonna fix my problem. I did not for 1 second think they were gonna fix my problem, but there was a 30-day money-back guarantee, and I saw one of my friends post on Facebook that they'd helped her kid, who I know is a marathon runner. So I was like, I will try it. I read the testimonials. I was like, it's clearly helping those people. Like, I've been in sales and marketing my whole life. No customer goes and leaves a testimonial to say these are great from their living room or their back porch if they're not great. You can't pay people to give testimonials in any other business, right? Like Nike, for example, Coca-Cola, those companies they would kill for what we have as far as having the person-to-person testimonials. So I knew that it was working for those people, that it was helping them. I believed that, but I didn't think it was going to work for me. When it did work for me, like at the end of the month, when I was not giving my socks back, I was surprised. I was very surprised. I was kind of frustrated that I had spent 2 years and a lot of money and a lot of time when $100 worth of socks solved the problem. But my next thought was, I have to tell everybody, because I seriously can't, like, if I find anybody that goes through what I went through and I know about these socks, how can I not tell them?
Plus, you go big or stay home.
Yeah, I go big or stay home. I really do. I really do. I really do.
That much I know about you, and I don't even know you.
It's true. So I signed up. I bought the $600 box. I bought the $200. I think at the time we just had a $200 prize pack or whatever the initial box you can buy. I bought everything I could buy from the very beginning. And then I bought a tent. And the next week I went and started selling them at a vendor market.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just like, whatever. The thing is, life happens, right? It was very serendipitous.
5 years ago?
The summer civic holiday week in 2017 is when I signed up.
Hmm.
But everything is very serendipitous. I had my own consulting business, and one of my clients was retiring, and I was being paid by her until the end of September, but I was done working for her in June. And at the end of July, I found Vox. So my plan had been in September, I spent the summer with my kids, go back in September and enroll some new clients to work with me. I was helping female entrepreneurs to build their businesses and their brands.
Imagine.
So I was like, maybe I'll do this for myself. And that's what I did.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And what a gift, right? Like what a gift
Right.
Krista is, right? And each person though, right? That's what's so neat is that everyone's bringing this piece, or even what has you here or keeps you here. That's when you start to listen to people's stories. It's unique, right? Like Krista was one of the people who, like, 2 years of, all of those, what do you say, 2 appointments per week for 2 years and finding an answer. And then when I was like that slow crawl out of skepticism, like I was chatting with someone today and I said, it was summer of 2016 when we were introduced to it. And it was fall, was it last? Yeah, like November, a year ago, 2019, that the CBT sleeve comes in. And in hindsight, I can see my HPT and what that was doing for me. But the sleeve was the game changer for me, right? And so what kept me in the process, I said, was the authenticity of people, right? And it wasn't the stories. I mean, I've shared this with you guys before. Oh, look, do you got a patch on?
I'm going to show you this. This is when I can say to people, I have both shoulders and both my knees have been surgically so-called not fixed. So when I show people these scars, and now I can go, but look
at you, good job.
And then I can go, by the way, I've got the added bonus when I'm not wearing the sleeve. Okay, you can just see the patch there.
Nice.
Yep.
The difference, hello, if I was to do that 6 weeks ago, I would be screaming in pain.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing.
And that is what I'll be able to, was not personally, be able to go and say, well, here's the proof, and I've done it. I've showed my scars and my sexy knee. Ask Beth about that one for my ad, because I've got the knee guard now. Because before I could not bend down to the ground, and because of my concussion, I cannot bend over because I get equilibrium problems. So now I can actually take my knee and bend it down to the ground and pick something up and stand back up again, and my balance is minimum loss.
Wow, that's
I'm no
awesome.
That's
longer
good.
walking
Awesome.
around,
So happy for you.
putting my hands out. Hold it, I've got to stop. I've got to get my balance. I've got my balance now. I can go. That's reducing remarkably fast, and that's now for me to be able to say to the people, "This is how it works."
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
I can ask you to try it. It's simple. You tell me. You tell me no. Fine.
Yeah.
And I said, when you're ready, come back and talk to me.
My whole time with Vox, I have said, and I encourage you to adopt this for yourself. When you're ready, I'm ready. I can't make you ready to help yourself as much as and that has to be true. Like, you have to build that for your inner circle. That's where that really needs to be true. For your inner circle, your friends and your family who should be wearing this tech, but aren't yet.
So good.
You just have to be here and let them know when they're ready, you're ready.
Yeah, because that's
And
the
you will
hardest.
help them.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
Hardest with our loved ones, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that, Krista. Like, guys, lay hold of that, right? Like, and not just as a statement, but as a truth for you, because people will feel that, right? And like Dr. Sill today was talking about Neurovax, and I love her because she knows, like, her confidence is contagious and she can cut through. But with compassion, she was talking about people who, they're not sure and they have this practitioner and this practitioner, and, she'll come through it, and ultimately it's your body, not mine. Right. But that place, it's like, when you're ready, I'm ready. It's your body. It's not mine. But people feel people get pushed on and sold to. And it's a little bit like someone said once about, like, I won't remember the exact phrase, but trusting our intentions, right? Like, so in our outward statement, do we trust what we're saying? But more than that, do I trust my own intentions? Like, in my own heart, when I say, when you're ready, I'm ready, my challenge to myself, but outwards too, is if you say, when you're ready, I'm ready, ask yourself, do I really mean that? And if you don't really mean that, then take a pedal backwards, because people will feel it even if you aren't. You can say something all you want, but people will know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's
True.
just another saying, then it's going to come across as one of those spammy network marketing kind of things, which the industry has had some challenge with, right?
Yeah.
Authenticity will take the day every day, because it's about being love, right? It's just about loving those people, and love doesn't push.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when they are ready, you want them to come to you, right? You want them to try this. So whatever it takes, if they need you to just not even talk about it.
So good.
Do you want me to tell you a crazy story about that?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. So when I found Vox, and keep in mind, I am an entrepreneur. I was looking at it from a business perspective, for sure. So one of the very first people I thought about was my friend Norm. Like, I mean, he was probably the first person I thought about as a business opportunity. I worked with him 20 years ago. He's an excellent human, and he really sincerely cares about helping people. And he's an entrepreneur. So he's one of the first people I reached out to, him and his wife. And I was like, listen, I found this technology, and it's a multi-level marketing company. So, like, we can do it for cheap. Like, we can get a membership and buy the product and sell it. And actually really helps people. And I know that because it helped me. It's not like all hocus pocus. It actually helped me. So, we could really, like, do something with this. And all he wrote back was, no, thank you. No, thank you.
You're like, what?
Huh?
That's not going to do it.
Right? So I was just like, oh. I was taken aback. I'm like, what? I thought, well, okay, that's fine. And then I reached out about 2 months later, and I said, look, I see people doing extraordinary things with this tech and building extraordinary businesses. And his wife is also a very good friend of mine. And I was like, I want this for us. Like, I want this financial freedom in my life. And I want it because when you, like, get to do this and get that, it's incredible. And I want that for you guys too. And his wife this time wrote back and said, thanks, Krista, we're not interested. These are my friends. Like, that's it? That's all you say to me? Thanks, Krista, we're not interested. I wrote like a paragraph. It was well thought out. Thanks, Krista, we're not interested. I'm like, they're not even calling me to ask me? Like, nothing. Crickets. Crickets. But I seriously wanted this for them so badly. And I'm like, okay, I can't make them. So I just have to wait and hope that they will talk to me about it another time. And I left it alone. And my intention sincerely was for them. Like, yes, I love the benefit of working with Norm, but my intention was for them, for their family. I love them. I want them to have this, this financial freedom that I know Vox will provide for anybody who wants it. And so life went on. I'm like, was busy. 2018, the beginning of 2019, I was busy doing event after event after event after event. I was constantly on the go, constantly posting on Facebook. And at this, now my life is like changed, right? Like now I have like had extreme success for my customers. Like I've had people's lives change in front of my eyes. I've had husbands come bawling, thanking me for doing this. So I'm posting this stuff on Facebook like, holy Lord, like this is massive. Look at this, like, veteran standing up tall on his insoles and his, the pride on his face. I'm posting all these things on Facebook like, look at this is amazing. No, I'm not thinking about anything other than like, people, please try this. Like, try it. I don't care where you get it, frankly, try it. So it was probably, I don't even know when. It was like the fall, early winter of around 2018, 2019. Norm calls. And I'm like, oh, we're going to go for drinks or something. I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to have drinks and da, da, da. Well, first, actually, I went to check his Facebook because I had this terrible, like, did something happen? No, nothing happened. Okay, good. Okay, hopefully we're going for drinks. He's coming to the city. And so we played phone tag for a couple of days, and then we catch each other, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, oh, good. How are you? It's like a 5-minute chit chat. And he goes, oh, I'm going to join your team.
What?
And I was like, I'm not playing any sports. I'm a massive athlete, and he plays in all kinds of co-ed leagues and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not. And then I'm thinking, like, this literally went through my head. Did he call the wrong person? Like, is he looking? I don't play, and I'm like, oh, okay. What? I go, what do you? I go, Norm, it's Krista. He goes, I know.
I can hear him doing that. I could hear Norm. I know.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Wow.
And he goes, you're Vox. I'm going to join your team. We're going to do Vox together. We're going to change the world.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
What?
and he's like, I've been watching you for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
I
gosh.
see what you're doing, and I get it now. I have to be a part of
Wow. So you never give up. You never give up. People are watching. That's like the girl that just signed up with me on the weekend. Since last May, she's been watching. Yeah.
Wow.
it. They know your intention. He knew.
Yeah.
He was like, he was like, done. Like, literally, it was like, okay, sign me up. Like, I'm on my computer. What do I do? Where do I go? I'm like, well,
Oh, you want me to do something to
said too
explain it to you first?
That's awesome, Krista.
That's
wow.
the
What
thing
a
is,
story.
And
he saw what I was doing, and he wanted to do it too. And the funny thing is, what I want for him and what he will get is so important to me. It's so important to me that he have that freedom for his family, because I know how hard he has worked in his life, and the challenges he's had to face. So that part, the financial part, is so important for me, for him to have, but he doesn't care about that at all. For him, it's all those posts I made about all those people I was helping. He's like, how can I not?
Wow.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And how do you serve people well, right? Like, I'd already made that note from what you'd said, Krista, and it was Norm just underlines that, because when you said, when you're ready, I'm ready, and what it takes is not talking about them. Not talking about it to them. And I love that, because it's not just one way, and it's not just one fit, right? And yet still, right, visibility, that is part of the gift of our social media world, right?
Yes.
Like, you can just put it out, and people, and that's the reminder. Like, we can put posts out that people are like, you think, oh, well, they're not seeing. But a year later, like you said, someone says, I've been watching. you know, and seeing what you do. And so that brings us back to our conversation like a couple of weeks ago on consistency, right? Like what are those little things? And it's in whatever step, right? It is the full sharing it all over the place. It's the toe in the water with some faithful customers, right? But those steps, whatever those steps are, and like you said, because then you'll know, well, they'll know that you're still doing it too, quite frankly. Some people are just watching to see if you're there a year later, because the industry has a lot of in and out. I'm doing this and then I'm doing that and doing that. But are you still doing this? Like Darlene, bless your heart, you've been journeying this so long too, right? Welcome to Darlene, because she showed up partway through. Glad you could make it, Darlene. But there are people like just the faithfully kind of continuing in the midst of everything in a full life. Oh, 4 years later, here's Darlene. She's still talking about those socks. Maybe she has figured something out. Maybe 4 years later, it's worth asking or a question, right? Or maybe she posts her website and you check out, Darlene's website, or just whatever those things. And yeah, the timing is so key.
Say good night.
Yeah, good night, Andy.
Good night, Andy.
Night,
Yeah,
Andy.
what time are we at? Oh,
Take
good. We're at
care.
9:00. Okay. Any final questions to wrap up for Krista before we head off?
I don't think
Tracy,
so.
I'll just tell
Actually,
you.
I do.
Yeah.
So when we do the friend and family thing, so you're going to set it up, and then like we invite all of our friends to this event.
Yes. And one of the, good.
Sorry, and then they see it. They have to go into their notifications to join. Is that how it works?
Chris, do you want to comment on that and within that, just the difference of an event versus a group?
So
The benefits of that.
So what I did for my team was an event because their groups, I keep their groups going. So we can constantly be letting their customers know, like each individual associates, customers know when there's a special and that kind of thing. So here, I pulled this. This is the last one I did. So okay, so say Tracy's the one that sets it up. So she sets it up, and then when you look at it, you go here and click invite, and look what happens.
Okay.
So when you click invite, all of your friends are going to show up here.
Okay.
So you invite whoever of those people you want, and then they will get a notification. The other thing you can do is you can click here, and you can copy this link right here, and then you can send it in Messenger. You could send it as a text. You could send it in an email. You just, wherever you open. So say I open Messenger and I'm going to send it to Tracy. So then I would just, like paste it there. And then when I send it to her, blink, it's going to show up like that. So you could send it to your customers and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you could just take a quick look through this too. So this is mine. I guess it's going to go. So that's the end of it. Yeah. So that's our thank you at the end. And I just wanted to point out too, when Tracy was saying, like she's going to be working and stuff. So we weren't all in the background. Oh yeah, I do this too. This is a little tip for all of you. I record these kind of things. What is this? How many pairs should you have? So I record these little 1-2 minute videos of myself answering frequently asked questions, and then I randomly post them whenever I need them.
So will this show up on their feeds, or do they have to go into it to see it?
They have to go into the event to see it.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Norm did his testimonial, and
So they have to remember the name, Nikki, so that each time they go online during those 4 days, they have
so
to
here's
go
what
into
they'll do.
that
Okay,
event.
so if they're on their Facebook, and they go to events.
Oh, that's
Okay.
true too, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it will be like, if it was happening now, it would be here.
Ah,
And if
Mhm.
you are friends with them on Facebook, so say Nikki, it's one of your friends in the thing. When you post on Facebook, when you post in the event, they'll get a Facebook notification because you're friends with them that you posted in this event because they said they were going to the event.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They'll also get a notification when anybody goes live. In the
Are
event.
we
Anybody.
each posting? How are we doing that?
That'll be up to you
Talking-
guys.
Oh, there's Sterling. That, yeah, we can chat more about that. But yes, we
Okay.
can post, or we can have. We chatted a bit about that. I don't mind carrying some of the bulk of that, but yeah, and there's different pieces. We also want some engagement posts, some fun posts. I kind of said at the beginning of the call, getting here with Krista was like, I'm done the summit. I'm going to wrap my brain around this and our next step. So I do still have some processing in terms of the practical pieces.
Okay.
And where hers was fairly free flowing, and you know how I'm wired too, I will need a little more of a skeleton. It's kind of like when I did curriculum as a homeschooler, right? You make your skeleton, then you flesh it out as you go.
Yeah.
So I anticipate that we'll lay out sort of an outline because I'm working the Monday and the Friday and the Monday. And so part of my goal within it is just to become comfortable with pre-setting posts. I mean, I've done them, but like just a whatever. It's getting late, can't remember the word, but you know,
Scheduling, yeah.
pre-setting my
Yeah,
posts.
scheduling,
Yeah. Schedule. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. And scheduling them. And I'm committing to do Facebook Lives within that. I'd love everyone to introduce themselves, and whether you do like we've wanted to do on our team tech page, whether it's a visual and a thing, but if you can do a little, hi, this is me, you know, at the beginning, that would be excellent. I mean, whatever our comfort level is, especially at the front end, because then if you're liking and commenting through and people have seen who you are, but yeah,
Definitely.
I remember when I did
So-
definitely
years
do that.
ago, Krista, and you can probably speak to this, is you know how when you invite people, I know that it's not recommended to just go in and just click, invite everybody. I know that there was something to do with Facebook, you know, seeing this and that not being allowed at one point, because I did this years ago. But also it's not recommended, right? Because you don't want to you want to connect with the person you're going to invite. You want to let them know, you want to talk to them about it. You want to have some kind of communication. So it's better to use that link.
I love the link.
And have a little communication and some kind of, you know, personalization to it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I will say ours was very last minute. So I did a lot of invite. And with an event, Facebook doesn't seem to shut it down. In a group, they shut it down. But an event, they don't shut it down.
Okay.
And you know what's interesting? Because Sharon, I would have said the same thing if I had more time. I would have sent personal invitations. But here's the thing. There are people that I would not have invited that showed up.
So you never know.
Never know.
Like,
no rights or wrongs.
No
Who's
rights or
watching?
wrongs.
Yeah.
Several people showed up.
and
I was
Chris-
surprised. Sorry?
And Krista, if you sent the link out to 100 people, they would show up at the event, and you wouldn't necessarily know who had invited them.
Yeah, that's very. Yes, you're right.
That's
you're
the
right,
other.
Greg,
That's
you're
the
right.
other problem.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, because
So
when you look at the guest list, it'll show you who invited them.
Yeah.
So would you suggest not posting the link, like
Yeah.
say onto your general page, right? You would rather say, I'm doing this. Like if you're not invite. If you post it on your page, would you say more like, be in touch and I'll send you an invite?
What I did was I posted it. So I have my group, right? Like I didn't post it on my Facebook page, like on my personal page. I posted it to my customer group.
Right. Okay.
Because it was them that was invited. And then I made sure I invited all my like actual family and actual friends on Facebook. Because the other thing is I didn't invite the whole Vox world, right? Because that's not really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to buy off you.
Yeah, exactly. They're not and the thing is, sometimes people have the right intentions, but they may like, I don't know. They might be like, oh, I also know that person. Well, that's okay. You didn't invite them, so you don't get. It's just I just find like work together. Whoever's going to be in it is in it, and that's it. different box.
And one of the
Mhm.
things that I found was practical that I liked that Krista had said at the beginning, and I think I've mentioned this, as opposed to a group like that, because you can go back and see who invited whom, right? And
Mhm.
so that's even valuable because when she had prizes, so and so wins a prize. I don't
Oh, yeah.
know this person. I can go back to the members list and, oh, this is Nikki's invite. I don't know if it's her sister or her second cousin twice removed, but I know Nikki invited her. And so, and it's the whole thing. It's like anywhere in the culture. Well, then I take whatever prize I'm doing and I get to Nikki and Nikki gifts it to her.
That's
friend,
exactly
right?
what it did.
Because it's about building each other's place, which is part of why I'm personally investing in, and like Krista did, in prize, because all of you are connected to me, right?
Right.
And so that just makes sense. But you can continue the conversation with your friend or your cousin or whoever.
Right.
And if anyone's purchasing, like, I think this will be clear, but if anyone's purchasing, well, if it's Darlene's friend and they're purchasing from Darlene, if it's Greg's connection, they're purchasing from Greg, right? Like, this is, again, this is not about everyone coming up to my website. If it's someone Peter has known for 20 years and they're on there, well, then we're directing him to Peter, the person to Peter's website, right?
And that's part of the intro. So what I said to people was, first put your intro up, put a photo of you with your name and your website and your city.
Okay.
And then I asked everybody, and this part I did schedule. So I said, so say it was, you know, like how many people are here? 2, 4, 6, 7. So I would say, okay, can you two go on Friday? One pick a morning, one pick an afternoon. You two go on Saturday, you two go on Sunday, and one of you go on Monday to tell your story.
Right.
Like either write it or record it and post it or do it live. Any of those things are fine. But your story is not your intro. Your intro is just, here I am, da, 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 and I pinned the intros so that it was easy for people to find the person that they, like the website of the person that they came to. Because when people come to the person who's leading the team, they're like, what's that person's website? Like, we don't know what your websites are. I can't keep track of all that kind of thing. It's not in my back office. So they have to post their websites, right? The people that are there. But then we did have one mix up. We had a customer that ordered from one of my team, and it was the team member that got the order that was like, this isn't my person. It must be so-and-so's person. So then we just called head office on Monday and we got it switched over. It's no big deal.
They're very good about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you just, I mean, you're working together. It's going to happen. Like, don't get stressed about it. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen now, it'll happen another time. But the thing is, the amount of energy that it brings when you work together, dealing with those little tiny things is nothing compared to the benefit you're going to get of working together.
Yep.
So be thinking about your story heading into it too. And if nothing else, consider a practice run for the storytelling contest that we have promised we're going to head into in the new year. We are going to do it, but then we had the summit and everything. So we are taking my story contest piece and replicating it for our team, and details to follow, but we're going to have a storytelling contest for Team Tech as well. So, but it's a great opportunity, right? Because the video one's just crafting those pieces or one of the stories, right? And, or like I've said, even in my storytelling thing, if you don't feel like you've got a story, borrow one. Like find a story and credit the person, obviously, you know, or pseudonym, however that works. But just get on there and like tell a story, like sharing some of your stories, like that little guy with the patch and the tippy toes, and like you can say, okay, is this okay with the mom, and share some of those stories. Who has impacted you? Because one of my, it's not near my by, but one of the photos that I had at my earliest vendor shows, because I wasn't aware of what I was experiencing, but I had people around me and I made a photo that says, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you love. Right? So maybe it's a someone you love story you want to share too, not just a you story, right? Because those are all the different whys. And some of them might even be there sharing it. So yeah, I got things running my brain there. But
I'll also tell you as a Facebook, or not necessarily Facebook, but any social media as a tip, if you want, like for my story, like my plantar fasciitis is the beginning of my story, right? But then like I have knee pain relief, I have chronic fatigue and sleep issues that have been resolved. I have like the list goes on and on and on. So I have short videos. One talks about my experience with my relief from plantar fasciitis. One talks about my knee pain. One talks about my sleep. One talks about my anxiety. And they're short. Because one thing to keep in mind when you're doing videos and stuff, when people you don't know are watching them, is they're not necessarily going to watch for even 3 minutes, right? So if you can cut down into short little videos for something like this, it's cool. It's a cool way to use them.
Peter, your question or 2 minutes? I saw your
2
hand go up.
minutes I found out the best for those short videos.
Mhm.
Yeah,
2 minutes.
And the more, like, see where your comfort zone is. Again, like, don't stress. The thing about this is it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun. But if you can bring yourself to do videos and still feel in the zone of fun, videos are amazing because people feel like they get to connect with you more. Right? Even if I was on the phone
true.
right now, even if we had this whole conversation like this, it's not the same, right? It's not the same. You don't see my hands flailing around, you need to see this, right? This is how I am. Like, you wouldn't get that if you'd just be like, is this
Krista, you should have been Italian. Like me, with the hands.
So just, if you can bring yourself to use videos, do it. And even if you don't want to tell your story on a video, another little tip, I do have to go with a little tip, is frequently asked questions. Answer them. People ask me all the time, how many pairs of socks should I get? I put these, I'll post. People ask me all the time, how many pairs of socks should I get? Here's my answer. And it's a 1-minute video on how many pairs of socks you should get. And why.
It's great. Great advice.
That is excellent. Krista, thank you so much for your time. Yeah, we all need to go. I need to go grab my REM patch and go to bed.
Yeah.
Gotta get up early in the
It
morning.
was such a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks so much,
so
Krista.
much.
So good to
Thank
speak
you.
with you. Yeah, right on.
And so, guys, keep your eyes open because we're going to have Saturday in the same room. I'll post. I'm going to open a room for conversation post summit, just for our conversations and debriefs and all that conversation. And that will be the same kind of 8:45 to gather with your coffee with a 9 o'clock start. So if you're not there till 9, that's fine. But that's our next kind of step. And we're going to put that in the Team Tech Talks page. So Nikki was there at the summit and everything. So for those of you who usually find that link in a different place, that's where we'll be this week. So anyway, Peter, it was so good to meet you.
Yeah,
And,
nice to meet you, Peter.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Peter.
Thank you. Well,
I'm getting
back and I'm getting a move on, so this is this week.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Before I say, Sharon, what are you saying?
I'm wrapping up the information I'm getting from this customer right now so I can put her order in. How cool is that?
This is what makes it worthwhile, right?
That's
Like
awesome.
not just the people affected, but seeing people I care about being able to care. That just love it.
Right?
So
It's a
anyway,
good thing you
thank
stayed up, Sharon.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm really learning to expand myself. What is it that you said, Krista? You said that. You said stretch yourself. Stretch
Stretch out outside of your comfort zone. Stay in your lane, but stretch
Stay in
outside
your
of your
lane, but but stretch yourself. I like it.
Yeah.
That's very gentle. I like it.
Exactly.
Stay in your lane, but stretch yourself.
Nice.
Exactly. We'll get there if we keep moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Baby
All
steps.
right. Good night, everyone. Thank you
Amazing.
again,
Thanks,
Chris.
everybody.
Thank you for
Good
your
night.
Cheers.
Yeah.
See you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.